Andromeda, and Hathor, and Perse, and Durga, and Demeter, and Hecate, and Artemis, and Aphrodite, and Athena, and Oyo. You have to know what this divinity is. And I'm going to show that to you now. When I spoke in an earlier video the about the goddess Durga, I may have it may have seemed that I was speaking to her as a with Mary Sue qualities, where she holds every weapon of the male gods, and she can do uh, any. She has all the power of of every male god. It's that she is some kind of Mary Sue, where she automatically, as Captain Marvel or in the Force Awakens, in Star Wars, the Force Awakens. That is not what I'm alluding to about Durga. Her strength is not what men can do. It's the fact that she is an expert in all of these because she is the goddess of the feminine practice, of the feminine strength, of endurance. Durga is endurance, just as Perse is nature, and Andromeda is self-sacrifice. And Andromeda is where Venus is exalted. Now, I have to adjust this because of, in order to make this, in order to make this flat, to make it more clear, let me just adjust the time. From here, you can see it more clearly. The edge of Aries in the Lahiri measure is right about here. 30 degrees is about this is this span right here. 30 degrees is about this span right here. Even though this is not the beginning of Pisces, this is not the beginning of Aries. You shift it over about a few degrees. In one of the other videos I showed you, it's about here. Now the Venus exaltation point is about 27 degrees of Pisces. But Andromeda here is her position. If you look at her stance. There's something weird about it. It's not very natural. She's bound to rocks. What is she bound to? She's bound to rocks, some kind of rock here. She's bound to this thing. She's bound to our memories. She's bound to we'll go over to the Arabic. Okay, here are some asterisms. She is bound to a well bucket. She's bound to the rear. She's bound to a well bucket. It's called the well bucket here in Arabic. In Babylonian, it's called the field. She's bound to the field. She's bound to the field. And Andromeda is called Anuniti. Chinese, she's bound to the wall, to the encampment. The encampment. In Egyptian, she's bound to the giant. In the Dendera, she's bound to the field. Greek is the horse. Indian Vedic, she's bound to the blessed feet. This is also the cot. This is also a cot, a bedpost. She's bound to the bedpost here. The feet of the bedpost. Korean, she's bound to the palace or the wall. Romanian, she's bound to the wall with a drain. She's bound to the wall again. Tibetan, nothing in the Tibetan as far as we can tell, as far as stellarium goes. Arabic lunar mansions, she's bound to the bucket again. So here is Andromeda. Here is Andromeda in the Hevelius depiction. She has her arm pointed up. Here she is, and here she is in the Arabic. She has her arm pointed up. And here she is. And in the modern, it's pointed to this star. Let's go back to Hevelius. And in Hevelius, her finger has this star in the ring. She has this in a ring finger. This star right here. In the Arabic, this star is in her fingertips. These two are in her palm. This one is in her delicate fingertips. And in the modern, her arm is pointed directly to this star. This here is Lambda Andromeda. This here is Venus's, this is pointing, all three of these are pointing to Venus's exaltation point. That's why she's on her side. Because artistically, in the progression of the planets going this way, this here is perpendicular, and it's pointing directly to the star that indicates her exaltation point, which is Lambda Andromeda. Right here, Lambda Andromeda. Here's Lambda Andromeda from astronomicalfandom.com. Lambda Andromeda is a binary star in the northern constellation of Andromeda. It is approximately 86 light years away from Earth. It's bright enough to be seen. It's bright enough to be seen with the naked eye. In Chinese, Tang She means flying serpent. Refers to an asterism consisting of Lambda Andromeda, Alpha Lacertae, as well as others. Tang She. Tang She. Because you have Lacertae here. So there's an asterism here somehow. In Chinese. Let's go to the Chinese, see if we see it. Modern Chinese. Modern Chinese, we'll go to asterisms. This must be the flying serpent. Yep, flying serpent, right here. Here it is, Flying Serpent XIX 19. Flying Serpent 19. Lambda Andromeda is high in the Andromeda constellation well above the ecliptic. So it is a high vibrational energy in our brains. It is where the daughter's upward straight arm points directly towards. This esoteric hide it in plain sight joke is intended to be a joke on you. This is the point where Venus is at her highest potential, as if her energy is born there. Andromeda is our esoteric mother of our strength, our vigor, our vitality, and life, and everything we appreciate and prefer to grow in our lives. And in the Hindu religion, Revati is the feminine characteristic here at the end of Pisces that it is embodied in Revati, even though it is overseen by Pusha, which is where Perseus comes in as well. The name Perseus. Pusha is custodian and caretaker, is the deity presiding this constellation, this nakshatra, is custodian of the feminine energies here, of the nurturer. Whereas in the story of the Greek, in the Greek hero story, Perseus is taking the role of Pusha and coming to marry Andromeda. So Andromeda is Revati, which is why I gravitate to her measure. Her measure, which is here, which is not in the official sign of Pisces. Through Andromeda, Venus is exalted, and Venus is the daughter, the guard of this world. She is celestially born here. And just like on the 12th, Venus is here, where she is celestially a child behind the sun, behind your soul. Here, she is a child. She is just being born. Her ego and her powers are being burnt here, overpowered by the Father, the protector. So here she is born from her, from our soul in cyclic form, whereas here she's born celestially. Her powers are given to everybody in this spot whenever she passes through here. This is her true power in this age of Pisces. And Lambda Andromedae is about 24 degrees of Pisces. So about 6 degrees before the end of the 30 degrees. So the 27 that is with Vedic astrology, this 4 degrees here, Venus is so bright, this 4 degrees is the margin for error for her brightness when she passes through here. So 24 degrees is the beginning, and 27 would be the end of her exaltation. In Nordic, Freya is Venus, and Freya has the Athena qualities. She is the representation of our freedom as differentiated from our liberties. This is our freedom. The woman in chains brings about our physical freedom, where we are here, where we begin to see unlimited time and then actual resources, and then we're able to come down into this earth, into material illusion, and we're able to see space.